Hi everyone, welcome to the last lesson in geometry, and probably the easiest one. We're going to talk about cross sections today. Okay, so we're in lesson 6.2. And what a cross section is it's the shape created by the intersection of a solid and a plane. And a nice way to kind of visualize that is by using this website right here. Go ahead and go to that website. So you can play around on this website and just kind of get an idea of what the different cross sections look like. So you pick a shape, and then you can decide how you want that, what do you want that cross section to look like. You can move the sliders around to see, oh, okay. So I like to think this, have you ever played the game Fruit Ninja? You have to like slice all the fruits. Well, picture that my prism here is a fruit. I'm going to slice it on this plane. What shape would it look like when I pull the two pieces apart? That is the cross section. So the cross section here is a rectangle. And it's another rectangle. I could spin this around. I could move it up and down. Okay. But no matter how I cut this thing, my cross section is a rectangle. You can play around with the different prisms. Will every cross section here be a triangle? What? No, not every cross section will be a triangle. Maybe the cross section could be a quadrilateral, maybe a trapezoid, maybe a rectangle. And rotate it around. Okay, so you can go ahead and play around with the different cross sections on that website. You can definitely use this as a visual. I would like for you to try and fill in this chart. So I'll do the first one together with you. What's the name of the solid? What figure is the base of the solid? How many faces does it have? Which figure results when you slice it parallel to the base? What would you get slicing it perpendicular to the base? And what about diagonally to the base? Okay. So let's pick that. That was a rectangular prism. Okay, so what is the name of that base of that solid? Well, if all of those sides were the same, we would call it a cube. If you weren't sure, you could just call it a rectangular prism. I'm going to go ahead and call this one a cube. Okay, so we'll go ahead and write cube in the first box. Which figure is the base? So, which figure is the base of the solid? So in this case, if this was a cube, that base would be a square. If you were calling it a rectangular prism, then you would write rectangle here. How many faces does this have? Well, this has 6 faces. I'm saying 6 faces because I'm calling it a cube. You called it a rectangular prism, you would probably say 4 faces, and the other 2 would be the bases. Which figure results when you slice it parallel to the base? So that's what my picture looks like here, parallel to the base. If I'm calling it a cube, then it's going to be a square. If you started out calling it a rectangular prism, you're going to say rectangle. And I just drew a picture. What about perpendicular to the base? Okay. So by doing that, I'm going to rotate this thing so it's a vertical. What shape do you have there? Well, in this, it's a rectangle. If you're calling it a cube, you might still say it's a square. How about diagonally? So diagonally, let's see, we're gonna move it. There we go, diagonally. Okay, we have a rectangle. There it is, the diagonal cut. In my cube, that would look like, okay. Let's see here. How can I make it look like that shape? Oh, look at that. Okay, so I could rotate it a couple times and get that shape. Do you see that different shape there? Hopefully you can see it when I rotate that way. So it really depends on how you read that, which figure sliced diagonal to the base. Okay, if you had drawn a rectangle there, I don't think I would mark that wrong. So now your job is to do the rest of the chart. So let's start with this first one. What is the name of that? Fill in your chart. Play around with that website a little bit. Not all of these are on there. Do the ones that you see on the website, and hopefully playing around with it enough will help you be able to visualize the ones that aren't there. So go ahead and take a few minutes to do that now. All right, you're welcome to check yours with mine. Hopefully you actually took this seriously and looked at this and filled in the chart. If you didn't get one of the shapes that I got here, go back and play with that shape and see if you can make that shape with the diagonal, especially this last column, with the diagonal slice. The SOL would only really ask you about the parallel and perpendicular slices, but that last diagonal slice, that can be kind of fun to play with too. So go ahead and play around with that. Remember, a face is something that is not the base. So in this case, we're calling all of the sides though a face. So in that cylinder, how many faces does it have? 3. What? It has a top and the bottom, but then that one that wraps around the side, if I were to unwrap a cylinder, I would see a rectangle. So we're going to call that one of the faces. Most of the time though, when it's talking about a face, it differentiates the faces from the bases. On this chart, it did not do that. What we really want to take away from this though is, what do those slices look like? Okay. And that is really all this was about. The cross section of a sphere is a circle. The attendance quiz word today is circle. Make sure you're comfortable with those cross sections. What would it look like? And then a lot of on the OLS or OMHS, they might ask you to calculate the area of those cross sections. If you can visualize them and use your formula sheet, you'll be good to go. Okay. Have a great day, everyone.